Hey there, I'm Sully, and as always, welcome to the Gun Club. All right, wanted to put together a little quick weekly update stream for tonight, March 10th, 2024. Just a little bit of a recap over what's happened the last week. It's been kind of a crazy couple of weeks for me. I know that. Was very busy this past weekend teaching EMS. Weekend before, I was out on the range most of the weekend with a couple of students. So, trying to wrap up a few things and catch up on a few things. Lots of information to share. And let's start to see what we can come up with. First off, on Wednesday of this past week, we had the State House and State Senate of South Carolina pass our constitutional carry. This went into effect about noon the next day when it was signed by Governor Henry McMaster, making us the 29th state to approve it, 28th state to get it. Not trying to throw rocks at any of our friends in beautiful scenic Louisiana. They got theirs approved first, but they're a little bit slower to the draw. It's going to take until, I believe, July 4th for them to actually put it into effect. Ours, well, the governor signed it over lunch, and it was pretty much put into effect 15 minutes after that. And so we're currently in live constitutional carry here in South Carolina, which is great. Now, I am a CWP instructor in South Carolina. I have lots of questions, lots of people questioning me. What does this mean? How does this change? What do we do? What does this mean for us? And I've got to say, in the big scope of things, there's a few changes here. Yes, we can carry without a permit anymore. Great. We no longer have to go through a class. There's no requirement that you take a class or do anything, as far as that goes, to get your carry permit in South Carolina. However, you are still responsible for all the laws and knowing the laws and the policies about where you can carry, where you can't carry, what you can carry, what you can't carry, etc. From my side, I know that I am still going to offer classes. If people choose to avail themselves of the class, great. If people choose not to, that's their choice. I'm fine with that. On the other side of the coin, we need to remember our constitutional carry is great in this state, but it doesn't necessarily transfer into other states. Alrighty, I see we've got a few people jumping into the Rumble chat. I see Mr. Scott Awesome. Hello, hello. I see Lishy Pie has stopped by to join us. Hope you're doing well, dear. We've got, so far 7 in Rumble. It's climbing 8 in Rumble. It's climbing up pretty quickly. And it looks like we've got 2 or 3 bopping in YouTube already. But again, from a standpoint of the law, yes, we can now carry without a permit in South Carolina, but where you can and cannot carry and the rules where you can and cannot carry, they all still apply. Personally, if it was me, I'd still get the permit. It doesn't cost that much to do. Secondly, that permit allows you to carry in other states. For example, North Carolina and Virginia. Neither one of them is constitutional carry. So I can carry on my South Carolina permit into North Carolina, into Virginia. If I happen to decide to run to North Carolina for lunch, or maybe decide to ride because I'm very close to North Carolina. Let's say I ride up there in the afternoon to pick up fresh bagels. Who knows? I would do that. But I can carry more places than just South Carolina. So there is still an advantage to having the permit in that respect. The second advantage is knowing the rules kind of be a nice thing to do, so that way you don't accidentally carry someplace you're not allowed to, because again, you can carry without a permit. Just don't accidentally carry any place that's wrong, because you're still responsible for all those rules. We will be offering through, the permits through my office, as we've been doing the classes. We've been doing a lot of them recently. If people want it, great. We're also looking at possibly doing just an information level class that doesn't quite get you the permit, but we'll give you the knowledge base and the information about where you can and where you cannot carry because, it is what it is. Yes, I will agree. The bagels are fantastic. We've got to love on the bagels. It's a little bit of an inside joke for those of you all who aren't familiar. I grew up in, just outside New York City, and there is a New York style bagel place up in North Carolina. It's in Hendersonville. There's actually 2 locations, but if you're in the area, check out Joey's New York Bagels and their gourmet cream cheese. Definitely some real good food. Real good food. Fat boy likes good food, and it's real good food. But yeah, so again, carrying in other states, your permit can be an advantage there. Now, heaven forbid, you get into a lethal force encounter. Do you know all the laws? Do you know all the policies? Do you know what to do? Well, if you do, you may find out better than if you don't. And you say, well, I've got constitutional carry, so I just did what I thought I should do. Now, I want people to take advantage of the constitutional carry, and I'm very pro the constitutional carry, but it's putting a lot of responsibility on you. So just understand both sides of it. Make an informed, intelligent decision. That's the biggest thing I can always tell people. You do what's right for you. Now, on the other side, let's say a domestic violence survivor who needs to be able to carry today because of the fact that she left her abusive jackass cockroach husband or boyfriend, whatever, last night, and he's now stalking her. She no longer has to wait to go through a permit class and everything else. She can carry on constitutional. Love that. That's great for our DV victims, or more likely survivors, people in that situation. The fact they don't have to jump through hoops and get a permit and go through all that. I love the fact that they can avail themselves of their right to protection early, quick, and easy. So there's definitely a positive there. So we've got to, again, look at the goods and the bads with every law. We will be putting out a stream. I know that within about 12 hours of the constitutional carry coming out, there was a letter published by SLED, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, detailing some of the new rules as far as carry and not carry. And we have posted that over in our locals chat and our locals group. If you're not familiar with our locals group, I'll go ahead and give you the links to that. We put it up there. Again, it's over here at thegunclub.locals.com. It's free access. We use that as our document repository. We put a lot of information up there. Again, if you want to look it over and see, that was what was sent out to law enforcement in the immediate aftermath of this decision. But again, just to recap, yes, constitutional carry has passed in South Carolina. It is in effect in South Carolina for 18 and up. Yes, 18 and up. Constitutional carry is in effect. More power to you, but please be smart, know the law. To me, $75 or $100 for a class to keep your butt out of trouble and teach you the laws and everything, well, seems like a good investment, but that's your choice. You do you, boo. Beyond that, what else do we have that has gone on in the last week? Let's see here. Well, Hannah Gutierrez Reed, if you have not heard, has been been convicted of involuntary manslaughter. That is in the shooting that happened on the Rust film set back in 2021, I believe. She's been sentenced on that. As far as where that goes, who knows? She's been convicted. We'll see how that plays out. She can get, I believe, up to 3 years. They originally had a firearm enhancement on there. They went ahead and pulled that off, and the reason was because that law was not in effect at the time the accident happened, so we can't hold her to that standard. As far as Alec goes, if you're worried about Alec, his trial, I believe, is scheduled to start jury selection early June, and we'll see what goes on with that in early June. that's where he starts his trials. So I did have several, of my LawTube colleagues who did live streams of Hannah's trial. They're most likely going to be getting into Alex's trial as well. If you want to look at Alex's trial or catch that, I strongly recommend check out Danny on Direct. It's DANI AHN, as in the name on AHN Direct. She is a attorney with a great deal of experience. She's out of Utah. She did a lot of live streams covering Hannah's trial over on her YouTube channel. She's one of my favorite law tubers. I know several, but she's one of my favorite ones. And she was really doing a lot of deep dives with the Hannah stuff. I know she and I have talked about it a lot. Also, Andrew Bronca on Law Self-Defense covered a bunch of it. Oh, I have a question here. Do I think 18 is enough? I'm mixed emotions on that, dear. Mixed emotions. On one side, at 18 years of age, they can sign their name on the dotted line and go to war. They can sign their name on the dotted line and buy a house or get a credit card or buy a car. Or, So as far as, is 18 enough? Where do we draw the line? We've got to make them an adult somewhere. The thing is, I think some 18-year-olds would be fine with it. Personally, not every 18-year-old is the same. We know some 18-year-olds can be very mature, and we know some 25-year-olds who can be 13. So from that standpoint, we'll go with what it is. I don't know what to tell you on that. Is 18 enough? On the other side of the coin, I will say when constitutional carry went into effect in Ohio, crime rates went way down in 4 of the 5 major cities. The thing that I love is, I think, again, for the good, responsible individuals, it's great. And I'm going to quote the governor of Louisiana when he signed their bill down there. He said that at that point he was signing it because he knew that the bad guys were already carrying guns regardless, anytime, any place, without a permit. Why can't we let the good citizens be on the same playing field, on the same level playing field? Hearing that, I like it. Again, it's going to be up to the individuals. If they mess up, they can mess up, and they can mess up big time. And they may end up getting in trouble, and they may end up getting a conviction they don't want in their lives. But on the other side of the coin, we've already got kids all over the country carrying guns right now. Interesting stats came across my desk the other day, and this was an ATF statistic from the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. No, that's not a convenience store. Out of 327,000 firearms that were recovered last year, in 2022, 327,000 firearms recovered by law enforcement in 2022. 15,651 of them were kids 17 and under, and I say kids, 17 and under. Almost 5% of the firearms recovered by law enforcement nationwide were in the hands of kids 17 and under. So when we talk about, is 18 enough? Why is this, 15-year-old getting tried as an adult? 5% of the firearms recovered by law enforcement come from kids 17 and down. So, kind of worrisome there. We know that 17 and under can't buy them, so they're either getting them from, friends, whatever, on the street, or they're stealing them, taking them from their parents, whatever the case may be. So again, seeing 5% of those firearms, and it looks really bad. Is 18 to 21, you're talking about 45,000 firearms recovered from people 18 to 21. So just those two age groups tack out to about 60,000 firearms out of 327. Yeah, in the country. That's a nationwide ATF statistic for 2022. So beyond that, what else is there? I have been following a little bit on the Philadelphia shooting that occurred at the bus stop there. It was a SEPTA bus stop that was apparently for not only regular buses, but also kids coming home from school. It was a drive-by. Do I know what states they come from? Yes. Oh, no, I'm not mad at you at all. Yes, we do have the breakdowns from what came from what states and the average age of each state. It's a whole file spreadsheet that was sent out by ATF talking about the firearms that they've been asked to trace from law enforcement. To give us an idea, we had 517 for 17 and under in South Carolina, and 1,357 in the age group 18 to 21. So, yeah, and I can get that whole stat, and if you want, I'll even post that link over in Locals to that ATF spreadsheet. It's a little bit much to try to post the whole spreadsheet on there because, as you might guess, 50 states in the union plus all the territories and then all the different age groups. But when you look at 327,000 firearms traced by the ATF, 15,500, 17 and under. So, yeah. Anyway, where were we? The SEPTA shooting. We know there have been several kids injured, a couple of them still critical, a lot wounded. 3 shooters, a 4th one driving. Those 4 individuals, they ditched the car a little ways away. The car comes back, of course, stolen. We go through this whole thing and say, so what do we have? They look to be, I'd say, on the younger side. They move and act and carry themselves as if they're younger. No suspects that Philly is releasing information on right now. They're still asking for the public's help on it. They think it could be a retaliation for an assault that occurred at another SEPTA bus stop earlier that week. So, yeah. When we talk about, schools becoming open-air shooting galleries, I think, again, constitutional carry is going to be the least of the problems. There are plenty of other firearm-related problems out there among the rest of the world, so to speak. When we get into talk about defensive firearm uses, again, we have the good guys out there and good gals with guns who are actually protecting themselves, protecting their family. There was on March 4th, just a few days ago, an off-duty corrections officer stopped at a convenience store on his way to work, inadvertently walked in on a robbery. He successfully held the robber at gunpoint until police arrived. So now, again, it was, technically an off-duty officer, but, somebody who stepped up, didn't have to do it, did what they needed to do. And again, fortunately, nobody was seriously injured or wounded in the case. And we look at the suspects charged with a plethora of criminal offenses, including aggravated robbery, possession of a firearm by a previously convicted felon. Guess what? Gun law didn't work there. And the local PD thanked him for, what he did dealing with that situation. The big thing I wanted to bring up there is, just going to work, walks in, the guy who's doing the armed robbery, previously convicted felon, he's still got a gun. We are not going to win the gun crime side by licensing or by making it harder to get them because everybody's got them. You could go out there tomorrow and try to take away every firearm from every lawful carrier. And you know what? All you're going to do is disarm the good guys. The bad guys are still going to have them. This guy in this case wasn't allowed to carry a gun on day one. He wasn't allowed to own one, wasn't allowed to touch one, wasn't allowed to leave his house carrying one. He did all the above and then did a robbery. So, yeah, didn't work out too well for him. We will definitely take that. And, again, fortunately, it had a good, outcome. Beyond that, what else we got? Anyone else? Are we dealing with some good news this week? Like I said, South Carolina concealed carry. Hannah, as far as her case goes, I kind of went the way I thought it would. I did not follow the trial straight through or all the time or like live and die with that because there was no way I could. It was several days of it. On the other side of that coin, and well, I will just say that I was kind of happy that there's a little bit of justice out there for uh, the cinematographer who ended up losing her life, because that unfortunately is the victim in all this. If you haven't seen, Alec Baldwin, he did his interview with George Stephanopoulos. I talked about that a little bit before. As far as it goes, not really a big fan of that interview the way it went, but it is what it is. And one thing I did want to mention, yes, it's 29 now have passed it. 28 are doing it. Louisiana's going to be doing it again July 4th, I believe. It's either June or July 4th, but I believe they said July 4th because I thought it was great. That was Independence Day when they were going to get it, and they were all happy about that. And I kind of chuckled because it was like, around here, nope, green light it, we ain't waiting. Okay, governor signed it. Lock and load, boys. Get your guns. And yeah, we pretty much did it was active here within an hour of the governor signing it. And I'd be surprised if it took that long to get it out there to everybody. Do want to mention one thing, and the State of the Union address, it happened one night this week. It was a complete and utter crap show. Would you expect anything less? The one thing that, again, just grinds my gears in the whole thing, and I know y'all are going to see right where this is coming from. Our esteemed potato in charge, or potato in chief, up there in D.C., sat down and he made a comment regarding the horrific murder of Lincoln Riley. I guess that was a USC football coach, from what I gather. Now, he, at the time he was talking about Lincoln Riley, picked up a button that had a different name on it. He had that button. You can zoom in on that button. You can see her name. Her name was Laken Hope Riley. But he can sit there and talk about how awful it was, what happened to Lincoln Riley. He didn't even have the decency to, refer to her name correctly. Okay, whatever. He then referred to the individual who brutally took her life as an illegal. Within a couple days later, he's out apologizing for daring to refer to the murderous piece of human waste that killed this girl as an illegal. We can't do that. We can't offend the murderer. But he is yet to apologize for his little oops. It is what it is. I don't want to play the political game. I really don't. I am starting a political channel on the side just because of that's where I will have my political rants. But again, we covered it here. You've heard her name here. Her name is Laken Hope Riley. Now, the reason I bring this up, the individual who did the murdering, the savage individual who beat her to death, him and or possibly his brother have now been potentially connected to a Venezuelan street gang. There's more and more indications that some of the individuals who are coming up from the South may well be either released or coming out of prison. We're finding this stuff come through. It's hard to say for certain, and I can't say for certain, but there is a lot of speculation, especially that Venezuela has got people who, well, let's just say, it's expensive to keep someone in prison. It's much cheaper for a country to take some of their worst of their worst, load them up in buses and drive them to the north end of the country and say, just keep right on going, and we don't have to pay for your upkeep anymore. The fact that multiple members of Venezuelan street gangs are popping up all over our country, it's troubling to say the least. And yes, I know he's barely literate. You can't expect him to read the button. I was hoping someone would get it right for him. That was one of those things. If he mispronounces his own name, if he, can't pronounce, Clarence Thomas's name or misses one of the senators' names, but to miss that little girl's name. And, of course, I didn't watch the whole thing because, well, that would, well, we'll just say that would probably spawn bulimia. I'd need a bucket to watch his whole thing. But yeah, kind of rough when you see that go on. And then he comes out and immediately apologizes to the murderer. Yeah. Can't offend the murderers, remember. Yeah. I guess, truth be told, he's a politician. He doesn't want to, upset his, um, people, his voters, his new voters, his newcomers. Yeah. But yeah, so if nothing else, if y'all believe, say a prayer for that little girl's family because they're going through hell, and to just see that, it's like, you've got to be kidding me. Now we can get into the whole discussion about immigration. We're not going to get that here tonight, but I'll probably be doing one of those on the other channel pretty soon because, well, let's just say there's going to be some political incorrectness involved. And, it is what it is. Again, much respect and gotta say, much love to, how do we put this nicely? Much love to all the people who managed to put him in power. Let's get through that whole thing. And, that's his. Yeah. His speech is the same one from last year and the year before. Yes, Mary, you are correct. It is definitely the same one from last year and the year before. It's the same talking points, and half of them are lies. Yeah. Yep. Mel had her rage going. Yeah. Kind of nice. She stayed up tonight. I didn't know whether she was going to be able to stay up tonight or, not. She has to actually work a real job in the morning. Unlike me, I'm probably sleeping till noon, but we'll say it is what it is. But yeah. And again, we've made, 29 states. So right now, the closest state to me that's not is North Carolina and Virginia are not. But beyond that, there has been a pretty good push here with constitutional carry, opening that up more. If we keep going, maybe we get nationwide concealed carry in the next couple of years. And again, those of us in the 2A world, think back to the mid-90s, actually being before, 95 in South Carolina, and I think 96 in South Carolina, you couldn't even get a permit. They didn't have such a thing. They had to pass a law to be able to get a permit to do it. Now all of a sudden, not only we went from you had to get a permit to now that we no longer have to get a permit, and then again, it's moving onwards and upwards to we don't need a permit. We're moving the right way. As far as SCOTUS Watch goes, we've got 2 cases pending in front of SCOTUS. We know Rahimi, that is the protection order case, where again is a protection order enough to get someone's 2A rights taken. That one is pending. And also Cargill v. Garland came up last week or so. That's the bump stock case. Now, when you get into all the bump stocks and that kind of stuff, personally, as a 2A warrior, I don't want any rules. I'm not all about bump stocks. I know what they do. I know what they're capable of doing. I don't think they're bad. And I think if you want to own one again, that's the you do you, boo kind of thing. To me, seems like more of a toy than an effective platform, unless you're trying to do like, area fire or, trying to do something a lot more aggressive than what we're going to be able to be doing. So from that standpoint, it is what it is, folks. I hope we get through all of that. And let's see, got some chats here. What's this now? Okay, what do we have to pussyfoot around for? Someone please tell me. I haven't been pussyfooting around anything. Maybe you're referring to like not offending the illegals. Oops, didn't I say it? Please tell all the illegals I'm sorry. I'll actually buy them a one-way trip back home. But anyway, alrighty. If y'all haven't noticed, we finally got the new upgrade in on Rumble. We've been working with the new Rumble streaming system where we actually get the Rumble comments up and in on the normal stream as opposed to having to do something different. So that's really kind of nice, as well as we're getting our YouTube comments in on our stream. So that worked without having to put in any more apps or connections or anything else. Again, if you want to look at the sled letter that came out to the great state of South Carolina, as far as what we were doing, I thought that was really funny when I read it because they quickly outlined it as far as, oops, by the way, here's what you need to know. And that's going to be over on our locals at thegunclub.locals.com. If you have any questions, drop me an email. It's mike.southeastdefense@gmail.net. But yeah, like I said, we're still going to be doing the CWP classes. I think there's still a good reason for them. I think there's still a need for them. And again, the one thing we don't have to do right now, and again, when I moved from North Carolina here, I was pretty well used to the laws. I could look up the laws. I had a good background in the laws. I knew pretty darn well how to handle a firearm. So it wasn't a big, but I had to jump through all the hoops, and I could have the person next to me in the same class I was taking. I had no idea. So again, we all started at that same level. Now they're putting a little more responsibility on us, and I'm okay with that. I'd rather do that. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention is after, everything that happened, you did hear that we lost one more Republican candidate for president. She was doing her best, and, she's one of our locals here from South Carolina. So we're going to say goodbye to Nikki.
Nobody likes Joe Biden. Even Obama said don't underestimate Joe's ability to screw things up. But we've got another issue. Some in our party want to see us fail, but guess what? They're out of luck. I know it's crazy, but it's true. So the best that you can do, the best that you can do is vote for Trump.
Yeah, there you go. I had to say goodbye to Nikki. Yeah, poor Nikki. Mel, I'm sure you'll give your sister our best and let her know that, we laughed at her tonight here in the chat. Oh. Well, I'll let you know I'm been getting a lot of really good feedback in on the video I did on YouTube doing the review of the Equalizer. That video's gotten a lot of hits, a lot of popularity on that. If you haven't seen it, you can check it out on our YouTube channel. We've got a lot of hits with it. The next one I'm looking at doing, I'm going to be doing a review of the Palmetto State Armory Dagger Micro Compact. We've done the compact. We're going to look at the micro compact. Again, it's a Glock clone in the 40 series. We'll see a little bit. I've heard a lot of good things about it. Like I said, the Dagger compact itself was very much a nice surprise for a low-budget firearm. Had a couple of people say, well, it's just a cheap Glock clone. Yeah. How about this one? It's an inexpensive Glock clone. It's, a lot of the same features as a Glock, but a lot more inexpensive. And it's got a little bit more of a Smith & Wesson design trigger feel to it. At least that's what I think. Oh, I thought your sister was the original. I'm sorry. Oops, I missed that one. Hopefully we get the review going for the Dagger Micro Compact soon. It's very much an interesting addition to the family. Hopefully we'll be doing that in the next week or so. Let's see. Whatever happened to the FMK? Share with me, FMK. Help me. I'm drawing a blank. Mental blank here. Vapor locking. FMK. Is the brand still around? Not sure, be honest with you. What was the FMK? I'm not sure on that one. FMK Firearms. Let's see here. It was a Glock clone. I will openly admit you got me on that one because I have never handled, fired, or until about 13.7 seconds ago heard of a FMK. So, don't know anything about it. I'm willing to look, do some research, see what I can find. It looks like they've got a website here. I had to confirm I was 18 to get into it. G3 9mm compact. Don't know. Looks interesting. I will have to check it out and see. I don't know who makes them or where they make them. Gen 3 compatible Glock frame. G3 pistols. Hey, evening, Sleazy. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I'm sure you're at work right now? Again, not sure. Again, have not played with a FMK, but we'll check it out. Maybe something worth doing a review on. I will say that I have been very, very happy with the equalizer. It's actually going to be I won't say everyday carry, but my primary carry for a full frame going forward. I just had to go ahead and order a holster or two for it to accessorize it properly, come up with the way I wanted to deal with that. But yeah, so that goes on. Yeah, Sleazy, you're catching us at work tonight. Hopefully we'll make your night go a little bit faster. Actually, I sent you out the link of the information from SLED. I thought it was funny because, again, there was so much question and so much information that was coming out, and they sent it out. Oops. By the way, just to let you know, we signed this on the 7th and effective immediately. Everyone's allowed to carry. So here's all that. And I know that they are trying in conjunction with that bill to come up with some funding for firearms training availability for people who can't afford it or something like that. Not sure exactly what all that is. I haven't read the bill, to be honest with you. I spent most of the week last week while it was getting debated and passed, getting ready for cardiology. I taught that all weekend. So, it's research season, but okay, it's pretty popular when it first came out. Haven't seen them in years. I'll see what I can find out. I'm definitely up to look at something new. I sort of stumbled into the Palmetto Dagger just because of the fact I got their Admiral 1911 model and I really liked it. That's that one that's sort of a half Palmetto, half, Rock Island Armory. man, it was like, man, that Rock Island, that Palmetto 1911 really surprised me. And then someone said, hey, check this Dagger Compact out. It's on sale. And when it was running at 300 and something, I said, I've got to try that just to see what a $300 gun feels like. And very much impressed. So then I got the Rock and I tried that one in the 5.7. Again, very much impressed. So Palmetto is doing good. And again, I know they've had some old quality issues a while back. I know, and again, when I talk about Palmetto, I'm not putting a Palmetto AR up against a BCM or a Daniel or something like that. I will say that, the fact that I can buy probably 3 Palmetto ARs for one high-end Daniel, or 4 of them probably for one high-end Daniel. Yeah, I understand. We need recoil therapy. Yep. I'll work on that, Unfortunately, we were both busy the last couple of weekends, so we might have to see. Maybe, depending on what our schedule is Wednesday of this week, may try to take you out for ladies' night. Who knows? But yeah, again, you can get 3 or 4 Palmetto ARs for one high-end Daniel. And the vast majority of individuals out there, if they're getting their first AR, they don't need a Daniel or a BCM. I'm not saying they're not beautiful weapons. I'm saying while you're learning, you also don't need your first car when you're 18 years old or 17 years old to be a new Bugatti or, a Corvette. Something simple is fine and wonderful. But what's that? Yeah, but I can run my gun longer before replacements than Palmetto. I'm Jewish. Fair enough. I understand that. And again, like I said, the rate we go, we'll do, but for your first gun, do you need a 3K gun, or do you think learning on a 1K gun and then appreciating that 3K even more, which one do you think would work? Again, we'll sort of throw that out there. Miss Scott, awesome. Oh, TMI. Anyway. And Mel's encouraging this. You got to love it. See, there's a reason we're in Rumble. There is a reason we're in Rumble world. Oh, I love y'all in Rumble. And again, now we have a Rumble chat we can put up, so that's all good. Oh, so many things I could say, but just don't even want to go there. But yeah, Scott, if you want to come out with us for ladies' night, that's fine. We can let you and Minnie, I'm sure, I'll have a wonderful time. Speaking of Minnie, I'm just going to throw this one out there. We've got to always recognize her for her wonderful contribution to society. Well, her cups, among other things. She has lovely tumblers, and she actually makes these up for us. And if you want to check out her stuff, she does custom logo work, all kinds of stuff. Also can do some custom embroidery work. She's going to be doing a little bit more as she gets more time here. She's kind of decluttering her life, for lack of a better term. Also, again, just to remember it, 'tis the season for EMS recertification. Yes, that's right. We're down to the last little while for your EMS recert needs. If you do, check us out, or we have our online education platform. We do have a 15% discount for a promo code Gun Club, but work from there. Oh, let's see what we got here. Let's see what's in the comments. Oh wow, everyone's a comedian today. Yeah, I don't think we're going to convince me to dress up for range day. I think we'll skip on that one for what it's worth. On the other side of that coin, yeah, exactly. Better not. Yeah. See, it's going to be a good day. I figured we all could use a nice white pill stream, a little bit of happiness. Our permitless carry finally. And we got to give a lot of credit not only to the South Carolina, the Republican group who passed this, but Palmetto Gun Rights, which is, I think, our state version of NAGR. There are, we have NAGR, the National Association of Gun Rights. We have the South Carolina version leading on there. We also had GOA involved. We had several groups involved. I hate to name any and leave any out. They were not only very, very active directly at the Capitol, but anytime they saw any kind of riders or pushback on it that they didn't like, they were immediately putting out on the Twitter feeds and on all the messaging apps, call Senator so-and-so's office, call so-and-so's office, tell them to take that off the bill. You already know about it. Tell them we'll remember this in November. They very much coordinated the ground game on site down there. And I know it took hours and hours for them to do it. So, Mel, yeah. Oh, folks, we've got some comedians in the chat tonight. That's good. Enjoying this. 25 to 30 years. Stop or my mom will shoot. I don't even remember that one, I don't think. Vaguely. Then again, yeah, my mom. Oh, boy. I can see Mel being more stop or my mom will shoot. I mean, actually, Mel's mom was packing heat before Mel was, if we want the truth here. So, but that's okay. Then again, Mel does get more range days than Mommy Dearest does. But it is what it is. Alrighty, well, that is about all I've got, folks. I'm going to cut it out, let you go, because you know what? I know it's late. It is Sunday night. I'm sorry we pushed it so late on a Sunday night. I taught about 11 hours yesterday, so it was definitely a long, drawn-out day. So from that standpoint, definitely needed a break. Yeah, we don't want to piss off the little 5'0", 70-year-old. No. Yeah. The one who likes my AR. Yeah. Whenever you hear how bad and awful AR-15s are, you got to realize Mel's little 5'0" mother, 70 years old, she's like sitting there loving on my AR.
I held an AR-15 in my hand. I wish I had it. It is as heavy as 10 boxes that you might be moving. And the bullet that is utilized, a 50 caliber, these kinds of bullets, need to be licensed and do not need to be on the streets.
Yeah, and Mel's mom kind of thinks that's even bullshit. So, yeah, she thought it was kind of fun playing with the AR. But then again, maybe that's why, she's a little bit smarter than Sheila Jackson Lee. But it is what it is. And I'll leave you, as always, with the ever so lovely and talented Sarah Gonzalez.